Hey guys, Jeremy and Frank Steinhausen here. We're here with another episode of HausCast at Stonehouse Realty Group. We're going to be having some fun today because we've got an awesome guest with us, Dave Pearce. He's known you for, it's the 90s, you guys.
Dave probably doesn't remember, but back in '92, I actually came to see you for an interview, but I didn't actually join at that time because I wasn't ready for Remax. I was at Robert Case Realty then.
Oh, yeah.
Myself and Mr. McQueenie came and saw you. Do you remember that?
I do remember now, yeah. And then...
You were in Morningside then.
Right.
He didn't make the cut, eh?
Yeah, well, I actually... Bob, Robert Case Realty,
yes.
They were the best trained agents out
They
there.
were.
They were really good. And I hired a lot of them. Yeah. No. I remember that. No?
Yeah, it was 92.
Yeah.
92.
Okay.
That's a long time. That's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you and McQueenie, you went to two different places.
We were, yes.
Yeah.
He eventually opened up his own, as we know.
Right.
So,
Yeah, went his own way.
Yeah.
So you started there, and then you worked, volunteered at Treb and Rico for a little bit as well.
What happened was I started around 81 or 82, and so I was learning. Mm-hmm. I opened up my own firm in 87.
Can I ask you, Dave, when you started, did you door knock?
Well, if you want to hear the story, I always have a good door knock, and it's true, But I started real estate farming. I didn't know anything else to do. I had lots of sales experience, but not in real estate.
Yeah.
But I knew that the way to success was to farm.
A geographical area, basically.
Geographical area, close to my house. And because I had young kids that my wife was working and I had to be home for school for them and that, when they came either
Sounds
from
familiar.
the daycare or the school. But yes, so my very first bit, I went around door knocking in the area, and I lived in the Midland and Finch area then.
Midland and Finch, okay.
Yeah. It was called Rosewood. You probably know Rosewood, right?
Yep, I do remember that.
And I can remember it was Ulysses Street, and that, your first one, you do remember it.
Oh, yeah.
And I went around and I started talking to this lady because she was putting a sign up about selling privately.
Oh, really?
And so I talked to her, and I told her all the things that she shouldn't be doing and how it would really get her in trouble. And of course, I confused her and me.
Both
but I talked to her for a while, and I went home. But I just lived around the corner. And so she when her husband come home, she called me and she said, I told my husband everything that you said.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, wow, and you're still phoning me, right? And she said, yeah. But I went over and I listed their house. And that was not the first door I knocked on, but was maybe the 7th or 8th.
Is that right, eh?
Yeah, but
Success.
I got the listing.
Yeah.
It sold. And over the years, I had probably 7 or 8 deals out of those people and their
really,
and their family and that, because
Yeah.
they were like me. Their kids were growing up and all that,
Yeah,
But
You treated them right.
Yeah, and I treated them right.
Yeah,
and it was really good, and it was one of those 4-bedroom back splits.
Okay, yeah.
They were very, very popular in
Yes,
the area.
that area.
Yeah.
Now, you opened your own office in
87,
87, right?
yeah.
Was it at Morningside?
Yeah, that was in Morningside.
That was the original. Okay.
Yeah, that was up north of Shepherd
there.
right?
Yeah.
And the reason I opened up there, I was just, my daughters and I, they're doing a lot of the work now. We were just re-signing my franchise, because you every 5 years.
You have to resign, right?
So when I got my franchise, everyone has little things they do. I was all ready to get it signed, but I waited till my birthday on June the 3rd.
Did you really?
I signed it on my birthday, right? And a lot of people out there laughed at me for going there because they called it the zoo grid. That was all that was available in Remax, right?
Okay.
Because I remember it was at Morningside and Shepherd,
Yeah.
so it wasn't far away from the zoo.
Meadowvale,
Yeah, just down
zoo
there.
grid.
And and even when I got my renewal, Remax still calls it the zoo
Is that
grid,
right, eh?
right?
Well, I know you had a lot of very, very successful agents there.
They were really
very successful.
And so many.
Yeah.
And again, going back to Case, like half a dozen was. And actually, I just saw something in the paper about one of them the other day. Her name, oh God, forget me, but her and her husband came there. Brad Alderson was her husband, and
I don't remember.
I remember, but they were talking about her father being in real estate and that, you know.
Yeah.
But they came from
Case as well.
From Case Realty, right?
Yeah,
And,
no, great training grounds.
right.
Great training.
Yeah.
That's what set it apart, eh? Just the ability for them to really bring a new agent kind of full speed.
Bob Case was the best trainer out there. There was nobody as good as him. But not only that, he knew how to hire managers that could be trainers.
Right.
Christ, he was training them. Then they were leaving and opened up on their own. How many people left Bob Case and opened up, right?
Yeah.
And when I ran for Treb, I was always friendly with him. He was just a nice guy.
He's very nice man.
He supported
Very nice
me
man.
and it helped me get elected at Treb, you know.
And when you say get elected, just to expand on that, preface that, Dave was the president from 2001 to 2002, I think it was, Dave?
It was actually a year and a half.
Right, yeah.
Because I got elected in '98. Just got elected to Treb.
Right.
And then it was the following year they elected me as president-elect. And then in 2000, I became president, and there was a lot of things to be done. And what happened was I couldn't get it done in a year. And they had weird stuff, like they had like 4 or 5 different anniversary days. One for the agents, that was in December when they renewed in December.
Yeah.
And one was their financial year was the end of October, and one was in June when they actually changed. It was, you know.
Yeah.
And we had all those agents, as I said before, right?
Yeah.
So I got about halfway through it, and we had let the CEO go by then, you know, and brought in a fellow, or we're just bringing him, and then Don Richardson, remember?
I remember.
He was at a re-up.
Yeah.
And by the time my year was up, everybody agreed, and we had a special meeting, and we went in, and they asked me if I could stay for another 6 months.
Oh, really?
Because they wanted to finish it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to finish it, you know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't unanimous, because a lot of people didn't want to do what we were doing.
Okay.
A lot of them wanted the old ways, you know. And
Status quo.
Yeah, the status quo.
Yeah.
And but anyway, they gave me, so I was actually there from January 1st, 2000 till the end of December, and then till the end of June.
I do remember, because of you, Dave, our fees actually went down by 20%. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Treb fees?
Yes.
You know, that's a fair chunk of money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and commissions were much smaller then, and
Yeah.
and we were running a I guess I wouldn't say a losing business, but it wasn't financially secure. Although they had a lot of reserves in that. Remember, the agent count was going down.
Yes.
And we got down to
90, 91. Yeah.
maybe, I'm not sure
No,
the
we
number.
got down, I think, to about 11, 12,000 at one point.
Oh yeah, I was going to say
That's it?
I was going to say
Wow.
17,000, but
No,
but
it
we were
was
way down there,
Yeah.
and now we're over 70,000.
Yeah, it's way up there.
Phenomenal. 70,000
Yeah.
agents.
Yeah.
But it was okay there, and I stayed for about 2008, I guess.
2008.
Yeah, so I think I was there 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
Made huge difference.
Right, and then I went into RICO for 3 years, which was different from what I would expect. The directors there didn't have much to say about anything. They were supposed to just be advisors. And
Was that right?
Yeah. And just taking it back for a sec, for people that might not understand, what does Treb do for realtors
and that's why I made a little.
you got your list, yeah.
And because you saw that, you know, it's all right to have this, eh?
Yeah.
And this is what I said. There's a lot of things it does, but what I figured out was Treb's main function is collecting and distributing, listing and selling information, and also very importantly, information on properties that do not sell or rent out. The individual Treb brokers and salespeople own the information, and Treb cannot give it to the public without their permission. And that was something when I was there also as the president, we made that clear to the public, and it was written into the Treb bylaws and all of that, that the listings belong to the individual brokers, not Treb.
Not the salespeople, but the brokerage.
The brokers,
Yeah.
and not Treb. You know,
Yeah.
they had nothing. They didn't do the work. It was ours, right?
Yeah.
And I've never been in favor of just giving it free to the public, right? The one thing is that my next part here is I like to tell people, if this makes sense to you, being successful isn't just about having the information, but it's understanding real estate needs and trends. You have to know what you've got. Everybody can have a bunch of
you can go on
there,
realtor.ca,
right?
you can see 100 listings,
Yeah,
right?
but it's meaningless, right? You got to know what you got and showing it out there, And also, realtors aren't the sole providers of real estate information. Like, it seems everybody is now, right?
Yeah.
And organized real estate, which we're members of,
Yeah.
they're not the sole. There's lots of people who aren't in organized real estate, right? And there's lots of people who have no right to be selling real estate, but they do anyway, And they call themselves advisors. Remember Pear Tree? How long ago was that?
Yeah.
Those type of ones, So, and then one thing Treb has really been good at, and when Don Richardson came in. Now, Don Richardson, for those who don't know, he was the CEO at AREA.
Ontario Real Estate Association.
And we hired him. We hired him in at Treb, But Trebs helps realtors to be professional by treating their real estate work as a business. Too many think, oh, it's a part-time job or
easy gig.
I can be a fireman or a policeman or a teacher, but I can still do my real estate, and some people can quite successfully, but most can't.
There's a few. There's always a few that can do it. Absolutely.
Right.
That's why the dropout rate is so huge for somebody that gets into real estate.
Yes.
2 years later, how many are left?
Yes.
Probably 80% or more have dropped out.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the same for companies. We have 7 offices.
That was going to be one of our questions, but we know that because we work for RE/MAX Rouge River.
But we only have just about 170 agents.
Well, I you know what, Dave? This is my hat's off to you because to work at RE/MAX Rouge, you have to be a producer.
You have to
Because
produce.
I know you actually let people go, which is unheard of when you think about it as a brokerage. It's all about a numbers game. Well, I've got so many agents, but if they're not producing, they're not doing you any good.
They're hurting me, and they're hurting the others,
Yeah.
And we have offices, not all clumped together, but they're all over the East End,
Yeah.
And our agents are good.
Yeah, they're very
And there is stats that you can obtain about real estate, right? And you'll find that we're number 30 in Southern Ontario, speak, right?
Yeah.
But nobody's got as few agents as us. We do more with our 170 agents.
Well, because they're quality agents.
We have companies that are just a step or two away from us, and they've got 1,000. We have some that have 2,000 or 3,000.
Yeah.
And they can't even sell as much as our 170 agents.
Yeah. What do you think really separates people that work at RE/MAX Rouge from other places? Like, what do you kind of look for in agents and kind of help elevate them?
It's not compulsory, but I lean towards and I favor agents who go to work every day and have an office, like a real job.
Yeah, like a usual 9 to 5. Yeah, exactly.
It's just.
I got a nice window seat.
Yeah, that. And the reason is when people say, but I can do it at home. Well, I say, I know you can do it at home. And I've been doing it at home for a long time, they say. And I'll say, okay. So if you were around, I'll say, ask Frank how many people have ever walked in this office and you got a lead off or something like that, and he'll tell you. And then tell him how many you got that knocked on your door.
Yeah.
Right?
So true. So true. I had one a couple of years ago, and it ended up being 6 deals altogether.
That's what happens, isn't it? That's how you build your business.
Yeah, it's a
And
snowball
agent
effect.
after agent will tell me that, That's my Melody and Jennifer, both my daughters, they started that way. They had to go out and they had to work, right?
You made them work.
Yeah,
Right?
they had. Now they run the company.
I know they do.
And they're pretty
job.
good at it,
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I do the mail. I like going. The reason I do the mail is because I can go around to all the offices and I talk to the agents.
Yeah, yeah.
And as I say, we've been in around 35 years or something, whatever it is. But we've got, it's either 30 or 35 of those agents have been with us more than 25 years.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
really-
they don't want to leave.
And a good 2/3 of them have an office. That's
Yeah.
why the office where you and Frank are, that's our most productive office, right? Even though the Whitby office, I mean, they're all good offices.
Yeah, they're all good
But
offices,
that's the most productive. But look around the people that are there, Ray. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
they've been for years
I don't
and
want to mention
years.
any names, but
Yeah.
some very good, some quality people.
Yeah, they put in the
Yeah.
hours. That's what it is, right?
And-
Put in the hours.
Yeah, they go to work.
They go to work.
And a lot of them do get a walk-in. They get a lead or a telephone call, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have some other things that, I can go on about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can, we don't, right? One thing I've been pushing the agents lately, and I talked to Dave Navarrete, and I know he won't do it, I shouldn't use his name, but it was just something he didn't. But I'm a firm believer that real estate agents should have a magnetic sign, and it should go on the doors of their cars.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why, right? If you're working in Port Union office, we've got about 50 people there,
Give or take, yeah.
They're not angels. They're not all sweet people.
No.
Some people just don't like them. So some people never walk in the door of our office to ask about real estate information. But those, and I learned this when before I had my own, I was at Remax, another Remax, and I had my signs on there, and it was a big office. It was, Remax East, they're out of business now,
Yeah.
It was there. I used to get a few walk-ins because people didn't want to walk in. For one reason, there might be somebody there they didn't want to see. But other reasons, a lot of people, including myself, we don't like to walk into a place and ask questions we don't know who we're going to get. But you know what? If you see the name on the vehicle that's outside,
You'll ask for that person.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do that, you can phone them because they're
from the parking lot.
and say, and then they'll come in, right? And I did get a lot of business that way.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was really successful. So a new agent, like remember I spoke with Dave, he's there all the time. I said, geez, you got a nice looking car, you're parked there all the time, right? Yeah. I said, if you did that, we've been in that mall, we changed locations, but we've been there 15 years now. Don't you think there's one or two people that won't ever come in there because of a bad experience with somebody else?
Good point.
Right?
Good point. Yeah. Well, I don't have I used to have the windows were all done. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But now I still have a license plate holder.
Oh, yeah.
That has my name on it, so if they
something,
want, they can still see it. So I
Yeah,
still
we
do
have
that.
some on the truck too.
Yeah, we do have a Remax sign on the truck.
When we hit for the track. people
So
can see it.
Fabian's just got a set of signs on his van.
Yeah, I've seen
Just,
those.
and I asked him to do that because agents are seeing it now and they say, why have you done that? Well, he said, for one thing, it was nice. I never even thought of this. He's the manager there. But he said, when agents come in, they can say, Fabian's in, I'll go see him.
Right.
And he said, I got more of them coming down to my office now,
Because they know he's in.
Just because they know he's there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, you can't put your name out too much to the public, no matter what anybody says.
Yeah.
You can never give them too much. Because if they don't want to see that paper or anything else, they just throw it in the garbage. But they still looked at the name before they threw it in there.
Name
Yeah, it's
recognition.
about that's
Branding.
something that we talk about for our farm.
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah.
getting out there consistently, and sure they might not say yes, we want to sell with you right now, but if you consistently kind of follow up with people, it creates an
rapport.
image. Yeah,
Yeah.
Build
create rapport. That's
Trust.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what we're doing with our farm. It's really
Yeah.
starting to help. So.
Yeah.
I had a couple other things. If you
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, please run along.
A lot of people are asking me if a correction's going to come.
Yeah, you know what, there's been talk about that, and I'll just give you, if you don't mind me just interject for a second. We had an offer last night, and I thought we'd get at least 12, 15 offers. You know how many offers we had, Dave?
One,
Four.
four. Okay. Yeah.
We had 4 offers.
Yeah.
So it's shifting a little bit.
Yeah, over the last couple of weeks, it's definitely shifted a little bit. We're seeing some places not sell even because the sellers not getting what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, expectations are high still.
So my answer is, the market is and has been in correction for a few weeks now.
A few weeks.
It's already there, right?
Yeah.
And the reason is you're not seeing these prices come out that they were way lower than maybe they paid for it a year ago and that.
Yeah.
Because when they don't sell, they're taking them off the market, but they have to go back on the market, right?
Eventually, yeah.
Well,
That's
if they bought it and they don't want to rent it out, they thought they were going to make money. Now they're going to have to understand So maybe it's down 20,000 now. Should I wait till it goes down to 30, or should I really be sure until it goes down 100? Right?
Yeah.
And that, you know, but it's been a long time since it went that way. The last time that happened was just when I was going in and you were going into real estate. Look at how many companies went out of business.
Yes. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Do you know I have the old Treb books from back then, and I like to mark them off. Some pages, some pages, 3/4 of the companies were gone. You know, they just so many of them. But I think it's already there. You know, it is in correction.
And when you say correction, Dave, do you think we're talking about percentage here, 5-10% correction, or?
I don't think we can say that because correction means different things, even to me, myself, depends what I'm looking at.
Right.
Like if it was a property that you paid $600,000 for 10 years ago, right? You know you're going to sell it for a lot more, even if the market is going down, right?
Yeah.
But if you paid $600,000 for it 6 months ago, if you find something like that, so if you paid $1 million 6 months ago, right?
Let's say $1 million, yeah.
But people are afraid to know when to quit, right? One thing I've done in real estate, and a lot of brokers, you know, we have a group. I have a group, most of the Remax brokers, and we meet. We don't know so much now.
Like a mastermind group.
Yeah, and we would meet once a month and talk about it. You know, people like all of the top people at Remax, you know, Pilarski's and all of those, you know.
Very successful brokerages.
We would talk about those things, and we all know that the market has changed. We talk a little bit on the phone now. We know the market's changed, but that doesn't mean the bottom's going to fall out of it.
No.
No. It's the reason why you bought it. If you paid $1 million for it, and you're happy living there, then just stay there and live there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a good story, which is absolutely true, and this is the last time it happened, and it changed a little bit after that. And I just spoke to my wife. I said, I wonder if I should tell these guys this one today.
Okay, go ahead, Dave.
Right? and I asked Jennifer, and she said it, right? But in I opened up in 87, so it was about 1992, somewhere around there. No, maybe 90, it doesn't matter when. There was a real nice house that I wanted to buy. It was brand new, and it was on Winding Court. You know where that is?
Winding Court.
It's at just above Kingston Road, Choiceland, you know?
Choiceland, yeah, okay.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And it really was a beautiful house, but it was brand new. It was Rajak home, right? And I really wanted to buy that house, but it was $450,000.
That was a lot of money back
then. And I didn't want to spend that much money. And so, but Rajak wouldn't sell it to me for less, right? And so it sat vacant. And he wouldn't list it with me neither. I thought,
really?
You know,
Yeah.
And but finally, after about close to a year, he decided. So I said, so you know, there won't be any fees in that. Oh, no, he said, I'm still selling it for $450. If you want it, it's $450.
Yeah.
So I said, what the hell? So I paid $450 for it. We lived in that house 10 years.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Melody and Jennifer, they were going to high school. They went to the Catholic high school over off of, is it Morningside, where Pope Paul it used to be called, or something, or something like that.
Could be.
Over there. And so we had really good 10 years there, right? And I'm the broker. I've got lots of successful agents, but then I'm going to sell my house, okay? And not only did we pay $450, we put another $100,000 into it. We put a nice pool in. Do you remember David Russell?
Yes, I do remember David Russell. Yeah.
Well, David Russell worked for us, him and Ingeborg. And we put in this pool, and they got married there. That was the first thing.
Really?
And they got married in our backyard, you know.
Awesome.
And there was a lot of real estate agents that, you know. And my house was nice, you know. It was a nice house.
Yeah.
And we had the basement finished up, you know. I used to play lots of poker. There was a group of guys that would come. And we had really just about the best years of our married life then, because the girls were just all through high school, from junior high all the way up and then into university and that, you know. But nonetheless, when Melody decided she was getting married, she had been going with Jeff, that was her high school sweetheart, And she come home one day and said, Jeff and I have decided we're getting married. And this was about May, I think. And I said, oh, when? You know, she said, August. Good, you know. I said, good, you know, it's about bloody time, so that. And then when she's off and she's happy, I said to Dolores, we looked at each other and we said, you know, okay, we're moving downtown.
It's time to move.
and Jennifer had already moved out, but Melody, she stayed at home till she was getting married. So we moved downtown and we bought a brand new condominium.
Condo, yeah, down on Bloor Street there, right?
Oh no! We bought one that they ran into some difficulties, but they were still going to build it. But it was I forget the name of them. They went to jail. Those guys. They were building. You know, they were big, well-known names. You know.
Yeah.
It was right across from the Eaton Center.
Oh, down there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, so then the next weekend we'd bought that, and then we thought we're not going to wait. So we went up. And we bought another place on just behind where I'm living now, Simcoe Street, South Simcoe Street, right? And we got it, and we almost got it. We hadn't bought it yet because I was very cautious, got to sell my own and that. The thing is, so we put ours on the market. What do you think we got? We paid $450 for it. We put $100,000 in it.
How many years later was this?
Is it about 10 years?
10 years, yeah.
10 years?
You're not going to guess.
No, okay. Okay.
382,000.
Oh, I was going the other way.
Of course. But that was in the market that we're in to now. Mm-hmm. You see? So it wasn't a huge loss for us. We'd had our good life there, you know, and we enjoyed. And I had no trouble selling it. So we sold it for the 382, took the offer on it. Then we bought the one on Simcoe Street. But of course, we got it way less. Homes were even cheaper downtown Toronto because the market was down. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And we stayed in that one. It wasn't the one we wanted, that condominium, but we wanted another one that we were buying up on Bloor Street, that 300 Bloor Street.
Yeah, yeah.
By the time the 2 years were up, the one that we'd bought on Simcoe, it had gone up a couple $100,000 because the prices were going back up again. And the one that wasn't built yet wasn't built for 6 or 7 years. But they never canceled the sales, you know. And,
is that right?
Yeah, okay. And so we had it, and so we did just a small bit of investing on the condominiums. But my point just is, it doesn't matter what you want or what you paid for it, it's how much you're going to pay me for it. And just get it out of your mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, getting detached from it, right?
It's what the buyer will pay for it, eh? He doesn't care what you paid, eh?
No, it does not care what you paid.
No, that was like I had an open house this past weekend and probably had over a dozen people ask, so what's it going to take to get this done? I'm like, the market's going to be the one that decides what this goes for, not me.
Yeah.
Right? It's not up to us to set the price.
Yeah.
So.
And it isn't. It isn't.
No.
It's just there. So it's in the correction.
What do you think would kind of cause this correction? What do you think is causing it right now?
Oh, the prices just went up too fast.
Went up too fast, and it's just leveling out. Some buyers are kind of stepping away.
I wouldn't say stepping away. They don't want to step away. They just can't afford to pay the price, right?
Yeah.
And they're looking at it. A buyer now, that's just a normal person, you know, going to buy a house, your age, right? If you got a $1.3 million
not saved up right now.
Yeah, well, you can't even think about it, can you? You know? So you got to go way out so far, right? Yeah. Well, but you're selling real estate where we are.
Durham.
So you're going to drive there every day. I mean, you're going to go way out past Durham before you're going to buy in, right? And that's what's happening now. Yeah. The market will catch up with it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It just will. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree.
But a lot of people think they can hold on. They think it's short term. In real estate, nothing's short term. Right?
Yeah. Personally, I don't think it's going to slow down. It might kind of plateau for a little bit.
It has slowed down.
Yeah.
I mean, it has slowed down. I look at the stats.
You see the numbers. Dave sends out the numbers.
Yeah, Dave says.
And that's why I do it. Yeah. Some people don't find it useful, but a lot of the agents do, you know.
I always look at it.
Yeah, I do too, because the girls make it up for me now. Yeah. Even when I look and I'm phoning Fabian or my daughters, I say, boy, do you see my Dave says?
You see my numbers?
You know, aren't I clever, you know? Because it's not how smart you are to know what it is. It is just what it is.
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't make it happen. I didn't make it
Numbers will
not
tell you.
happen, you know. But it is slowed down.
I just don't think it's going to stay at this rate. I think it's going to start picking up again probably.
But it always does.
Yeah, it's that cycle, right?
Yeah.
It slows down right before the spring, then picks up again.
Yeah. When I bought my first house, I wasn't in real estate yet, and I was a salesman all my life. My daughter was born, so she's 45 now, 46, you know. I decided how to get a real job instead of selling different things. So I went to the TDC. I worked there for 5 years.
Oh,
right?
did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a good job. Made lots of money.
Yeah,
There was lots of
union and all
overtime.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't bad. And I really worked like a dog, you know. But I always wanted to sell. So we had a condominium. We weren't very successful with it. We wanted to move out. And the guy that came, and so many salespeople tell you that, the salesman that took my listing, he couldn't sell it. He was such a jerk. You know? I said to him, I could do this myself. You know?
Sounds like your story too.
There's so
why he got
many,
it.
so many are like that. And I give my notice in at the TDC, and I said to Loris, I'm gonna go into real estate.
Yeah.
And she understood. I was always a hard worker, you know. Always
you can make it
provided.
work.
She worked for the government, and
Yeah.
and I just did right. And God, you know, and this real estate, when I went into it, it was, as we talked about earlier, it was different than it was today, right?
Yeah.
But it was still real estate, and it's still marked down. It had to be.
You're still seeing the people, STP.
Yeah. Getting belly to belly.
And quite honestly, in real estate, I mean, I've seen a lot of people come, a lot of people go. But if you really want to be successful in real estate, right? Frank's heard it 100 times. They get the old timers. They get Pearce again. and I had a guy come in to see me, Barry Cox.
Oh yeah.
You know, you were already with me when Barry came.
No, Barry was there before I was.
Yeah, I had just opened up, so he must have come in '88, and he'd been working in a bank. And he said, I want to go into real estate, you know, and I give him my gab, similar to what I'm doing now, just back then. And he said, okay. He said, what do I have to do to be successful, right? Well, I said, I can guarantee you that two things will happen. Only about 1 out of 4, if I'm lucky, actually really do listen to me, then do what I tell them they can do.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much brains. It's just actually doing it, right?
Yeah.
We didn't allow people to work from home then. They either had to be in the office or go somewhere else. You know, you know, go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just pick yourself an office, get a mailing list. Well, he told me, I got this big mailing list. I've been doing loans and that different loans at the bank. And his wife still managed that bank now. Or not that branch, but there, you know.
Yeah.
And, but he said, I can really come up with a mailing list. So, well, that's good. So that's number one is a mailing list, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody that has a mailing list over 100 people not succeed in real estate. You know, it's impossible, right?
Yeah. You need to know people, right?
No, they need to know you.
Oh.
And that's really it, right? But that's it. So do that, right? Farm, right?
Which Barry did.
Which Barry did.
Yeah.
And he's farmed his area.
Yeah.
He had his mailing list.
Yeah.
And maybe 4 years later, 3 or 4 years later, we had a fellow work with us, and he was telling us, you know, about some nice Florida properties. And we had a whole group of us who all went down and bought them.
I wish I would have been at Remax then.
And they were townhouses, right? And Barry's only moved once since then, just to a nicer
bungalow
one.
down there.
Yeah. But he did that, and he made, you know, Barry's still there now. He's been there 5 months.
Yeah.
You know, he goes for 5
down
or
there.
6 months. Even now, and he hardly works. He's younger than me, but I'll be 80 this year. So Barry's got to be 70, right?
Is he 70? Yeah. Is he that old?
Hey, maybe not, maybe 68, you know. But nonetheless, the last couple of years, because he's spending half the years down there, he only makes $150,000, $175,000 a year.
Well, he was the #1 agent in your office forever.
That's it, eh?
Ages, right?
Yeah.
And that's all it does, right?
Yeah.
Do your mailing list, do your farming, right?
And make sure people know you.
Yeah. And people know you.
Yeah.
You know, you can know a lot of people, right?
You gotta know what you do. And
and doing the mailing list, right? Remember now, this is people that know you, and a lot of people won't do it. But what you do is you just sit down. Do you have a mailing list now? Not your dad's. Don't tell me about your dad's. You know, do you have a mailing list?
I'm starting to build one up through door knocking and that kind of thing. So it's growing slowly.
Right. So what you have to learn to do to get a quick start on your mailing list, right? Put your doctor on it.
My doctor, okay. Yeah.
Put him on it. He doesn't like it. He just throws it in the garbage. He gets all sorts of stuff. But he won't get many from real estate agents because they're intimidated by giving it to him.
Yeah.
And doctors are always looking to move up. They're always, you put your doctor on it, you put your dentist on it, you put your accountant on it. All of these people that you do business with, and those people, you're giving them business too. Mm-hmm. And you're just showing them you're in real estate if you ever want it, you know. Do you know, you can find about 25 to 30, 40 people that you're dealing with all the time. The guy at the corner store over there, this guy that's listening to you now, you know. You know, you just put them all on that list.
My barber.
And your barber, and you just make this list up, and they're just people, right?
Yeah.
But what I do know is that if you have that 100, you'll never go out of business.
Yeah.
So
And they don't even have to like you. I'll tell you, we had what's
they
his
have to
name?
respect you, though.
They have to respect
They
you.
have to respect you.
We had a couple
There's a
work in our
difference,
office, and they worked a long time. He's not with us now. He managed for me for a bit, you know, but a husband and wife, and they had a house that they sold, and they didn't do something right, and the buyers sued them, right? And they were on their mailing list, but they sued them, and they only got, you know, small claims court, $300 or $400. So anyway, this lady, we used to do some paperwork up for them, you know, to mail it out. She said, I don't have enough. You had to have 50. I wasn't interested. If you couldn't come up with 50, don't be telling me, I'm at 49. Well, I said, but she said, the only one I got is this so-and-so. Remember when they sued me? Well, I said, put her on it. 4 years later, she came back to me. She said, oh my God, she said, they just phoned me to list their house.
Yeah.
And she said, I was embarrassed going there, you know, but, and so what happened? And she said, well, Gary went with me, and he said, I didn't think you'd ever call us. Why did you call us? You know, I mean, we're glad. And she said, you're my agent. You know,
Yeah, that's what they're known as.
because they don't know somebody else, you see?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So making a list is really simple.
Yeah.
Oh, and crucial, isn't it?
Especially when you're starting out, right?
Really.
To be successful.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
Yeah. So, God, I've talked so much here. Eh?
Yeah, that's okay. Is there anything else you wanted to mention? Because it's starting to get towards the end of it.
Yeah. Something I just was been reading in the paper, and it's saying that both the federal and federal government, especially, they're talking about all these wonderful things they're going to do. They're going to ban different things, you know, and all
Blind
that.
bidding, those
You've been
kind of
reading
things.
all that, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're going to do that, right? Because real estate is regulated provincially.
Right.
And the federal government can ask all they want, but the provincials aren't going to give them the right to give it back to them. They're making so much money out of real estate, you know, in all different ways, right? And they're talking there as if they're going to stop this type of bidding and, you know, all these disclosures. We got too many rules now. Well, not too many, but we've got many rules now. And if we just enforce them and regulate them, we'll be fine, you know.
Fine. Yeah.
The problem with real estate isn't that realtors need to be regulated, right? It's just that there's not enough houses out there right now.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And if the government would just devote their time to opening up some lands and get more places built on them, you know, that's how they would get more real estate, right, Frank?
No,
Yeah.
it's all right. It's all
Yeah.
right.
It's just, it takes time to build places, right? So it's a matter of trying to catch up. That's the problem we're in right now.
Yeah.
It's just
So anyway, I had nothing to say.
No,
you kept
Thank
us
you so
going.
much.
We really appreciate
So
it.
you had other questions, eh?
You kind of touched on everything we were going to
did
ask just
I?
through the stories.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Makes it easy on us. But we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been great getting to know you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But thanks for tuning in, guys. And
Little
we
plug
we
for
got
our
this
book.
little guy, the Real Estate Intelligence. it's something that we're giving out to people. So shoot us a message. We're happy to give it out, to send it out to you guys. Some great resources on buying, selling, and what it takes. So reach out to us. We're happy to pass it on. It's a great little resource for us. So thanks again for tuning in to HausCast.
Thanks
it's
for
been an
coming.
absolute pleasure with you, Dave. Really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
We'll see you
again.
soon.
See ya.